Eastern Green Schools, a rural district in Bloomfield, Indiana, is making efforts to help their digital natives have access to as much technology as possible. As the ability and access to technology changes, several teachers were willing to try a new approach to teaching. In the spirit of trying new things for their students' advancement, I asked them to flip one lesson in their first semester this school year. We began with sitting down and talking about how flipping a lesson might look in their rooms. Several sessions of brainstorming were needed for the teachers who had never flipped a lesson before to feel comfortable moving forward with this project. We discussed what flipping is and how they might apply it to their lesson.
We create a Greek roots book where every week I give them like 8 root words.
Talking like anti, con,
yes,
stuff like that.
Yes, and then from there we write down words that use those Greek roots. So like today we did hydro. I feel like it's kind of a waste of time for every week for me to take 30 minutes to go through these 8 words. So if I could put it on a video to where they could watch it at home, it would take that out of my classroom so they could spend more time in my room drawing the pictures that show the meaning.
Yeah.
And also, like, a lot of them write slowly because they're, looking up there to see how they spell it, and if they look back here, it's a lot of this. So if I could record myself giving the words and writing the words down, then they could pause it.
Yeah.
And so, too, because when the kids are absent, they're like, oh, I didn't get my words for this week. And I'm like, well, you've got to get a partner's book and borrow it and trust that they've got all the words and they're spelled correctly. So this way they could just say, okay, well, it's wherever, go find the video and watch it.
Meanwhile, in the elementary school, Larry Leonard, a second grade teacher, uses the pre-existing math program Envisions to allow students a chance to preview a lesson while completing a mini lesson, so he has more time in class to differentiate his groups and give those students who need extra help more of his time.
The hardest part is in class when I'm watching those videos with the class, trying to keep their attention on the videos, and then to go back, and then for them to, there's a folded sheet that has, the front, the two middles, and the back that go with that introductory video.
Okay.
And there are lots of lessons that have those. And the problem is when they go back to their seats, I have some kids who get it one time the first time and they're just on it and they get it. And then I have that group of kids that always needs 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, a couple goes and practices.
And just to even get it on the paper.
Oh, wow.
What are we doing here? What do you need to be doing? What am I doing here? What do you need to be doing? And I have 2 or 3 students that almost need that one-on-one the whole time because of attention deficit or of a learning, because I have to go back and work with them so much.
So is this, they can watch these videos at home then?
What I want to do is teach the lesson with the video like I would, walk them through the video like I would, and then because I can also pull up the same paper they use there at their desk on the smartboard, then I could walk through any activity with them.
Okay.
So then I would like for them to be able to watch the video at home
Okay.
the way I would present it in class.
Right.
And then walk them through in a way that I would walk it through if you're able to get it the first time. Because then if they don't get it, they can rewind it and watch that part again. And that way, they've watched the video, they know what the introduction is, they've done the lesson, the mini lesson, and then when they come in, I can just go straight to my stations.
The teachers took the time to show me the materials the students would need at home to complete the video watching portion of the lesson.
The videos last night, and while they were watching the videos, they filled out a version of notes. So these are different statements based on different theories, and they had to write down the names based on which scientists believe which statement. And that was their notes that they had to complete while watching the videos.
This would take in my class almost an entire class period to write the root, write the words, because they're copying down. I use my overhead. And I just feel like it's a very useful thing for them to be able to do, to know these Greek roots. But at this point, I feel like it's just taking up too much class period or class time in class. So what I thought about doing to flip it is create some PowerPoints that go over the same information and then send that or put it in on my website or send it to them in an email so they can view that, because we're going to start doing Latin roots after fall break. And they will then be responsible for viewing the PowerPoint, getting the root words, the words that contain the root, and then drawing their picture. And that will all be done now outside of class. And then when they come back to class, we can spend maybe 10, 15 minutes going over the words and practicing them. But all of the hard work, where I'm just kind of sitting and waiting for them to copy, will be done outside of class.
The 3 teachers all took different approaches to providing the videos for their students. One chose pre-existing YouTube videos, one created PowerPoint slideshows, and one created their own videos so the students would see a familiar face in the style of teaching they were used to. While I wasn't able to go home with the students to record them watching the videos supplied by their teachers, I was able to see the lesson that would corresponded with the videos and see how well watching the lesson ahead of time influenced how discussion or group work went in a class. After the lessons had been taught, I sat down with different groups of students to see what they thought about the new type of learning, reminding them it wasn't about the topic being taught, but the process of how it was taught.
Okay, so what did you think about watching a video before class?
Well, it wasn't too much of a change, but I like not wasting class time before watching it.
Yeah.
Because whenever you waste class time, it only leaves 5 or 10 minutes for us actually to do it, and then it leaves us for homework, and I usually forget about it. So
yeah.
It's good not to.
So you like being able to have more class time to do group work and discuss?
Yeah.
Cool. What did you think about the style of teaching?
I liked it better than I did when she was telling us what to do, just because when we're doing it, we can do it at home. We don't have to wait for her, like, the next day to continue. Like, at the end of class, if it runs late, we don't have to wait to do the next word. We can do it at home. And if Miss Alt goes too fast, then you don't get the word done and you don't know what to do. But I like it because you can go at your own pace.
Okay, what about you, hun?
Kind of what she said, I like it because you can go at your own pace, but also, like, you don't have to do it in the classroom. You can get it done anywhere between Monday and Friday on your own time, whatever day you want to get them done. And, like, even if there's a word that you don't understand, if you look at the pictures, since they already have pictures from Google Chrome, it's actually a lot easier to see those than the drawings that she did. And so, yeah.
Nice. What if you were absent? How do you think this style of teaching would help if you were absent from school?
I think it would help because you didn't have to borrow another person's book. You just have to ask in study hall. You'd have to ask it on computer and then get on your email and do that.
However, not everyone enjoyed the new style of teaching.
Carly, tell me what you thought of this style of teaching.
Well, I didn't really like it because if I didn't know a word, then I wouldn't have anybody to ask. And if you looked it up in the dictionary, there's more than one definition, and then you might not have the right definition.
Okay, so maybe getting it what you're supposed to learn correct is a concern for you.
I did kind of like it, but the only negative opinion I have about this is that I like going into the reading and trying to find the facts about it. And if I just hear about it, it just doesn't click as much as if you're reading it in a book.
All in all, the views expressed by the teachers were positive to this new style of teaching. They recognized that it would take time not only for them to get used to the methodology, but also for students, as they were still used to being taught mainly in a lecture format. They recognized to develop an entire class in this manner would take time after seeing the time it took for one lesson. However, it doesn't seem that that challenge is going to deter them.
Their knowledge on it was better, and they actually had ideas. I think what helped the most was that they were able to have those 3 minutes to talk to the other group members about it and kind of solidify their ideas before we brought it into the classroom and able to talk about it.
Cool. Knowing that this was the first time really trying to get the bugs out, I did a review lesson. So it wasn't new material. So when they came in, I didn't know for sure how much they had learned doing that part. I didn't want to do something new, knowing that maybe the DVDs wouldn't work, and then trying to get it done here at school. So trying to work all those bugs out. But they really seemed, we did the same kind of review in the classroom. They did really well on it.
Good.
So I don't know if new material were introduced, how well they would do the next day in class without me going over it with them. I'm assuming they would do fine.
Yeah.
Because it's the same way I introduce new material in the room a lot of times.
So you think you're going to do it again?
I absolutely want to do it again.
All right. So what are your feelings on how it went?
It went really well. I knew about halfway through the first semester that I wanted to do our root work differently because it was just taking up too much time in the classroom. 1 day a week was spent primarily working on Greek roots. So I thought about putting together some PowerPoints that I could send out to the kids. They could do at home or during study skills time, and it would take most of the work outside of the classroom, and we could come back then and review the words and talk about the definitions. So
you think you might do this again?
I think so. I'd like to maybe explore how to do it with grammar because, those same lectures and the examples that I do are the same and kind of repetitive, and again, it takes up a lot of time. And I would rather use, have them watch the video, do the homework, and then come in and we spend more time grading their homework and talking about why the homework is right or wrong instead of just kind of going through it quickly.
So you can celebrate this as a win?
I think so, yes.
With a little bit of brainstorming, help when snags occurred, support, humor, flexibility, and the desire to be ahead of the game in the rapidly changing world that is education, I am proud these teachers went outside their comfort zones to change their traditional classrooms, even if it was only for one lesson. As the teachers and students celebrate a new experience together, this vlogger hopes they will continue it in the future.